Welcome to Peak Personalities. This is a series we'll be doing bi-weekly with me and Nathan. The concept will be going by one series at a time, talking about some of our favorite moments, and for now, we're covering Bleach.
All right, welcome back, everyone. It's been some time. How's it been since our last? It's been a while for me since we've done one of these.
Alright, it's been a hot minute.
It has. Do you want to play the wonderful game of guessing what character I picked?
Well, I get that wonderful game of a hint.
Wonderful game of a hint. Okay, I would not consider this character a side character. How about that?
So main character. Well, you did Ichigo. So that leaves Sato, of course.
It's definitely a good amount of characters still.
No, there's a lot of characters that you could call main character. His main cast could really be anyone that reappears for several hundred chapters.
Yeah, exactly.
No, my heart's telling me Uryu. I'm not sure why.
Oh my gosh, dude, what?
Let's go.
No, dude, you gotta get it. All right, I owe you like a carrot cake or something. I don't know. Oh, by the way, I like carrot cake now. Okay, yeah, no, it's Uryu. Yeah, it's Uryu. We're talking about Uryu today. People are like, oh yeah, drawing in manga, like snipers usually don't thrive well, or people who are ranged fighters don't really hand to hand combat, close range is what really like takes off. And I'm like, you know what? I got a perfect counter argument to that, and and that's where Uryu came from. He is known as the last pure Quincy.
Rukin.
Oh, yeah, I can't forget Rarukin. He is one of our main cast members, along with Ichigo, Orihime, and Chad, are the original four, and that's who we're talking about today. So let's ask you really quick about how you feel about Ryu. What comes to mind?
I think Uryu. I kind of think of Naruto and Sasuke.
Wow. Is it because it's his sub voice actor, Sasuke's sub voice actor? I think.
I think that's a part of it, but I think narratively they fill a lot of the similar things where I guess in this particular aspect Ichigo's more on power level wise more like Sasuke, and how Naruto's constantly trying to catch up to him, at least for the first portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
And Uryu kind of is chasing after Ichigo for the longest time, power level wise. At least they both got dicked by Ukiura, so that
Yeah.
kind of helped his ego. But Uryu just absolutely kind of hates everything Ichigo stands for, but at the same time can't help but acknowledge that there's something to be respected in Ichigo. That's because Ichigo is just the main character who imprints his brand onto everyone and makes them re-see the world in a more healthy and balanced way.
Yeah, man, we're getting deep already. The video just started. But so let's go plot implications. Uryu plot implications don't really peak, pun intended, until much later in the Thousand Year Blood War arc. But he does serve a pivotal role as a good support character. I think when Kubo decided to put Uryu in this "I am a traitor" kind of vibes, and that at the time I wasn't really falling for it. And I really had to do with how Kubo has really set up Uryu as being he's a very loyal friend to Ichigo and company, even though he doesn't necessarily like Soul Reapers. He has definitely seen the different sides of it now compared to those in the past. And during the time of the Thousand Year Blood War arc, when Uryu was being showcased as this, oh, he's a traitor, it was very hard to believe. This double agent thing just wasn't that's just what we all knew. Did you buy into that at all, of him being this traitor?
I had no room to buy into it. When the anime stopped, I didn't read manga then, so I just watched a bunch of YouTube videos. I was like, oh, Ryu's a traitor. That's weird.
That's weird.
Doesn't really make sense. Okay.
And so you had no grounds to even
Question it, yeah.
question it. Yeah, during the time when the manga came out, some people were kind of, oh my gosh, how could this be? And were worried how would Ryu respond as being, joining the Vandenreich and all that, and working specifically under Yuha. The manga did not do it well of the fights for Uryu. Oh, he kind of just shoots at Orihime and them, like with a very half-hearted, he shoots like a million arrows at them.
Lit Reagan.
Litz Reagan, you just don't take it seriously. Then he goes over to against the Squad Zero, and you're like, okay, yeah, he's fighting Squad Zero. He probably just doesn't care about these guys to begin with. He didn't, and uses his antithesis, and whatnot. And then Ugram. I mean, Hashwall just knew right away. Hashwall's like, it felt like Kubo wrote Hashwall to express how the fans were feeling. Like, you're not a traitor. You're not. And Ugram literally sees right through it. Gets the almighty when Yuha goes to sleep. I think it was an interesting concept, and I wonder if Kubo at the time was just wanting us to believe that, testing our knowledge about Uryu. Like, I wonder if that's what it was.
I just don't think the Uryu twist works because of the Ronkar arc. The whole idea that, oh, my dad gave me my powers back so long as I don't help a Soul Reaper, and I'm getting through this loophole because Ichigo's a substitute Soul Reaper, so I'm going to help you anyways, then completely makes you think, okay, well, his character arc is completely over towards an ally with Ichigo. Because as much as he was helpful for the Soul Society invasion,
Mm-hmm.
there's kind of a feeling that he's doing it because he was already friends with Orihime before he even, found out Ichigo was a Soul Reaper.
Yeah.
And if he didn't help with the Ronkar arc, and honestly doesn't do a whole lot in the Ronkar arc, maybe the betrayal, especially with the extra things they've added to the anime, would have worked a lot better.
Oh, I totally agree. Can you think of any other plot implications for him other than the Thousand-Year Blood War arc?
The biggest plot implication I have for him is undecided future that lies in his wake, because Ichigo has the opportunity to change the tone for who Uryu is and what mark he's making in the world, where Ichigo reminds him of Soken Ishida's words that Soul Reapers and Quincy's are supposed to be on the same side working together symbiotically, and Uryu, not Ryuken, is the last embodiment of these teachings, and Uryu has the opportunity to set along a new age of the Quincy's working with the Shinigami.
I like that. That segues us to our strong character moment. For this one, it's really hard. For me, I think Uryu's best strong character moment, and he was with Ruruken and he was trying to get his powers back. I think when Ruruken was telling Ryu, like, hey, I'll help you get your powers back, but you gotta promise you're not gonna be messing with the Soul Reapers anymore. You're not gonna help them. Kubo's really good at helping us understand how the characters are and what their answers are gonna be prior to them doing any kind of actions, or even during in a moment. And we knew Ryu was still going to help them regardless, because that's what he cares about. And as you mentioned, what Soskin said.
Soken, yes.
Yeah. So, and yeah, he has just a different way of thinking, and I think Ruruken was just trying to protect Uryu in a way. He didn't want him to lose his powers and all that. But during that whole fight, it wasn't really that long, but it is one of, I think, Uryu's better fights. Not fights; it was more of a dodging contest. Finds out Ruruken, he's a Quincy. He knew that. During that whole exchange, I think Uryu just had a moment where
the Ichigo Uryu back-to-back hollow extravaganza. They're not necessarily worried about whether or not they'll defeat the hollows. They are worried about how long they're going to last, and it's only with their teamwork that they come together to defeat the adversity, and that comes by their verbal conversation ability to understand each other. And while all those small hollows, they didn't even really need to work together aside from being back to back.
Yeah.
The Nosegrad is an absolute huge threat that they could not defeat without one another. And it's also such a great moment because Urahara's like, hey, Chad and Orihime, this is what you need to be ready for if you want to even think about stepping into the Soul Society. And their unison sets the path for Chad and Orihime to be ready for the challenges that lay in their path.
I love that dual attack. Actually, that is one of my favorite moments between those two.
It's a great moment.
You actually helped me out there. Thank you. Moving over to biggest surprise. Okay, I'm gonna cheat here, and sorry for any manga purists out there. I have to applaud the anime here with the Thousand-Year Blood Work, is that showcasing Uryu's betrayal against his fight against Renji, I think is really doing a better job of how serious Uryu is, because I'm kind of surprised by his attacks and his abilities that he has. We knew the antithesis was broken. We didn't have any thought experiments of how strong Uryu was, especially against the Squad Zero. I think the anime is doing a really good job of showcasing Uryu intentions and his growth with these newfound abilities from Yuha. That's coming as a surprise for me because I thought they were going to be pretty faithful to the manga here. Couldn't be more surprised by how the fight between Uryu and Renji went. I liked seeing Renji's Bankai in action a little bit more, seeing what he can really do, and I liked how cold Uryu's still being. And despite Renji and Uryu weren't really, I wouldn't say eye to eye anyway, they weren't like good friends or buddies, but there was a good dynamic with them in the Ronkar arc with when they were fighting Zalaparo. And I think that was just a really good fight that Kubo gave permission to animate, because it caught me off guard. They really did. I did not expect that.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned it because this is what I wanted to mention
Go ahead.
for my potential strong character moment for Uryu. And I absolutely love how the fight wraps up where Renji's laying on the floor and Uryu goes on his spiel about there's 3 reasons why you couldn't defeat me. You weren't trying to kill me. You don't know anything about my powers. And I fucking hate your guts.
That caught me off. Dude,
bro,
that caught me
I
off
fucking
guard.
love that.
I love that, dude.
Because Uryu had this edge to him where he really was like very tight knit about what he held true. And didn't let anyone else talk to him about it. And, they also fucking brought back that line with Senjumaru, which was also a great character moment where he's like, on my honor as a Quincy, I will kill you. And we haven't heard him say that in so long, and I feel like it's just really important to his character because not only does it acknowledge his culture as a Quincy, it also acknowledges that he wears it out front. Is what he wants other people to know as soon as they look to them. It's a strong individual identity for him.
I love that. Actually, I'm circling back to strong character moment. I'm going back to the Mayuri fight. It's a cop out, but I'm gonna do it. By the way, love that fight. I absolutely love the fight because I like Mayuri. I also love Uryu here because in that fight, we really got to see Uryu tested. Mayuri's like, oh yeah, I already tested you, Quincy's. I'm glad you actually brought this up because Uryu really is passionate about that. He gets like when he's poisoned on the ground from I don't know if it's Ashigogi's Jizo. I think that's.
I fucking hate that sword, and I hate that guy.
I know, but we see how Uryu, I love the showcasing of how powerful he was, because at that time I wasn't really taking Uryu seriously. And yeah, here he is, he's fighting a captain level opponent, and when he breaks out the Let's Steal, dude, I'm like, I love Uryu's passion for defending and protecting, especially when it comes to the Quincy's, and you start seeing Mayuri giving props to Uryu, and like, oh wow, you are a genius, if you will. And I think that's actually a good example of a strong character moment, because it was showcasing Uryu's just coldness that he could be, and I wouldn't say bloodlust, but he can be very, actually I applaud the anime again for showing that Uryu could just be absolutely just dead cold sometimes, and I love it. It makes him look cool.
I absolutely love the trope of last stands in every source of media. He's absolutely fighting to his last bone. He's completely immobilized, and then he executes this highly personalized and uncommon and savant skill that is the ability he's executing to even be able to move for the rest of this fight. And then he pops open that wrist glove. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna lose all my fucking powers, but for my culture and my pride, I cannot let you live after all the torturing you have done to my people, and especially what you have done to my grandfather. He's like, as my pride as a Quincy, I will kill you. And then that shot,
oh, I love that scene,
eviscerates his Bankai and should have killed Mayuri if he, didn't tamper with his body that much.
If he went for the head.
Or if he went for the head. I don't know why he didn't go for the head. That pissed me off. He's too good of a shot to miss like that.
I'm not gonna lie. If I was in that situation, I just want to blow a hole through you as well. So I actually watched that fight prior to actually joining this call, doing this peak personality. So it was actually a good refresher. Way to pull it. Where'd you pull that quote from? Did you pull it straight from the manga?
I pulled it from my memory.
You're a dog. I can't. I need to rewatch. I need to reread.
The only thing I had to pull up was how the Renji fight ended. I was looking for that.
That was another one where Uryu's got some actually good quotes. I used to be an Uryu hater, and I know it. I've become more of a supporter now. I'm happy for it. Since we're finishing up, do you have any other biggest surprises for Uryu?
I think my biggest surprise, Uryu, was when he was fighting Rukiora to buy time, and it's like, man, talk about last stands for a character. He lost his arm in the middle of this fight, can't even form a bow because you need both hands for the bow, and he's like, okay.
It's classic Kupo, by the way.
yeah. And then he's like, all right, I'll just kind of create this energy sword and swing at you to buy time. It's like, this is so bad. This is so bad.
No,
and then
it's a very bad situation.
Ichigo comes up and he's starting to wail on Rukiora, and you're like, okay, well, I'm not happy that he's winning the fight, but he's winning the fight. And then he's trying to pummel the shit out of Rukiora, and Uryu gets in there. He's like, yeah, just stop, bro. I'm like, ain't no way you're stepping into the lines of the fire. That was my absolute biggest surprise. And then he gets fucking shanked by Zangetsu. I'm like, no. Why would you ever do this?
Why do you think? Do you think that was the primal, like just the primalness of White right there, or why do you think he slashed Uryu, or do you think that was more Ichigo's like will coming in there, and he's just already in this primal state of just attacking whatever's next to him?
I think anything that just got in the way of defeating Rukiora was supposed to be killed. I just think it's that simple.
That's so cold.
I was absolutely shocked that, if your homie's winning a fight and he's swinging, I'm not stepping in front of your homie. Like, come on. That's just dumb. And he's got a sword and you got one arm. Like, what are you doing, my guy?
It just shows that Uryu likes to see more into someone. I don't know what he thought when he was looking at Ichigo there.
Well, I think he was trying to save his last shred of humanity about not brutalizing an opponent past need.
He's one to talk.
Honestly, with hindsight, he was completely wrong. White does a point-blank Sero to Urkiora. He's like, yeah, finish me. I'm not winning this. He still lives. To be completely honest with you, White needed to pummel Urkiora until he was dust.
I wonder if Uryu had some sympathy for Ukiura, or I'm sure it was some humanity comforting for Ichigo, just making sure he's not brutalizing his opponent. But like you said, it had to happen. So I don't know. It was an interesting way of why Kubo had him step in there. I don't know what exactly Uryu was thinking there. Like a thought experiment here.
It was 100% my biggest surprise. I did not think anyone would be that dumb. You don't see Orihime even trying to stop him, and she stopped Ichigo before.
She was more frightened, if anything. But I wouldn't say it's the biggest surprise. This is more of an honorable mention. And that's Uryu versus, how do you say her name? Saruki? Please tell me I said that right. So during that fight, I really wish this came out. The Quincy, what's it called? The Steel Schneider, is that what it's called?
Yeah, Steel Schneider. And so he tried to use against Rukiora with no effect.
I just don't think it clicked with him that, previous Espada are not the same as current ones, but I freaking love that. I rewatched that fight. I haven't watched that fight in years. That man is so sick.
Infinite Slick goes crazy, man.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying this is really biggest surprise. I kind of just enjoyed the fight. Tsuruki was kind of an interesting character, especially with her yo-yo type ability. And the showcasing of the Schneider just showed Uryu's versatility as a fighter. And even then, he still used it as an arrow at the end of the day. Regardless, we got a lightsaber. I thought it was pretty cool. That's all I got.
That's all you got?
Yeah, we got I don't know how many minutes that was.
We have talked a lot about a lot, but there's still peak moments.
Oh, I missed it. I forgot. My gosh. Oh wait, no, I picked the Mayuri fight.
You call that a strong character moment?
No, that's a peak moment. All right, that was going hand in hand. I don't know why I said character, strong character moment. I think I literally said recycle back. I don't know why. That was my peak moment. I love the Wet Seal.
Well, I acknowledge that's probably a top 2 peak moment. My number 1 peak moment.
What's number 1?
Is using Antithesis against Senjumaru.
Ooh, okay, yes. I like the anime one.
That is such a great moment in the anime. Because not only did you have the whole moment of my god, we're getting a Zero Squad Bankai for the first time ever, and I guess someone would have thought someone was going to use Bankai at some point, but I didn't actually think we'd get it. That's you put 100 things on your wish list for Christmas, you're hoping for 5, right?
I was pretty hyped. I wish Nimai had a little bit more showcasing.
Fair enough. But it's also just an even crazier moment where the whole shit gets flipped over. The table's on the floor and he just pops off with
was a positive ability in the show.
Antithesis. And she also does a callback to Soken, which I think is great. I think that's kind of the heart to Uryu. His time as a kid and, developing his power set with his grandfather and her creating those hollows and being like, hey, remember how your grandfather died? That's so rude.
Okay, I'm not glad. I'm a big Senjumaru fan, so I'm gonna let it, because she can be kind of cold, but she was pretty funny. That was actually kind of a crazy moment. On the topic of 1,000-Year Blood, I have to applaud how the anime is treating Uryu's fights, because we're seeing a lot more from him. How do you feel? Because I feel like the anime is really making this kind of pretty clear that Ichigo's in this oh, I gotta talk to Uryu, I gotta save him, right? Same thing in the manga, but the anime is pretty much showcased that if Ichigo really wanted to, he could 100% kill Uryu at any moment. In versus battles, and back in the day, people would be like, "Oh no, Uryu has antithesis, so it's gonna cook." How do you feel about that? That at least that's the vibe I'm getting. I don't know if you're getting the same vibe.
That's definitely the vibe I get from the community. I mean, like, unless Uryu gets a jump from a distance with like a single good shot, which, he could,
Mhm.
Ichigo is just unbelievably fast, and the speed he can travel like is unfathomable at this point.
It's the speed blitzing argument.
It only takes Ichigo one hit to absolutely incapacitate him or kill him. And I think Ichigo should be able to do that because when you look at Ichigo's arrival against the Bambis after the Soul Palace training, he basically goes across the entire city instantaneously.
That looks so good. It was so good.
It was so good in the anime. And if he could do that distance that fast, I don't really have a reason to believe why Uryu should be able to react to that.
It's so weird because the antithesis is literally just one of the. It rivals the Almighty. It literally is stated to rival the Almighty. I just find it crazy because even Uryu himself is like, yeah, no, you could totally kill me. Like I'm like, okay, I guess we're just shutting that fight down. Like that's just I find it really surprising for me. I'm fine with it, but at the same time though, like I don't know. How do you think the fight between? Do you think the anime's gonna do anything special with the Ugram Hashwalt fight and Uryu?
I'm so disappointed that they didn't expand in Hashwalt's Spazby because they added that scene where Uryu's fighting Ichigo. Hashwalt's kind of like staring at Uryu, quote unquote, finish Ichigo off. And it's kind of like setting the precedent, like, oh, this is what you have to do to your friends that are on the other side. So I was hoping they were going to expand the fight between Basby, make it a bit closer, kind of highlight that friendship dynamic and the tension based on the past they're like predestined to take. And then that would like solidify Uryu's and Ichigo's relationship for those who weren't aware that Uryu's being a double agent. Based on that whole shenanigans and the friendship dynamic that they were setting up with Basby and Hashwaltz and then Ichigo and Uryu. And now that the whole script is flipped, I think it's a great opportunity. Add some dialogue to it, add some tension to it, make it longer. Don't cut away from it like 5 times. Hell, we missed the whole middle portion of that fight, which is an absolute shame. You go from them like starting the fight
and they're just bloody
to like one of them being down. I think it would be a great way. Do a OG throwback. Bring it back to that Ichigo and Uryu scene where Ichigo's kind of reminding Uryu of what Soka Nishida wanted to fight for the Quincy's. Fight for equal playing ground with the Shinigami, and you guys are equals. You work together and you provide for one another. Bring those ideals for Uryu to bring to Hashwaltz, and then you can do that additional flashback with Hashwaltz and Basby, and then talk about, I can't believe I killed my best friend. Why couldn't I just realize what we could have done together if we worked together? And then you cut to Ichigo plus Uryu doing something together.
I think that would freaking be amazing. When it comes to Ugram and Uryu, the whole point of that fight, the reason why it was so short in the manga and like so cutty, was it was this battle of ideals, and Kubo was getting short on time because sick and then deadlines and whatnot. But yeah, I do like how the anime handled the bit. I didn't want too much backstory between the Basby and Ugram's story.
It's definitely not bad. I just wish there was more. And if you're ever wishing more, that means something's being done right.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to say we needed more of that. Ugram and I think it was his uncle. I think that's who he was with. I think the plot pretty much indicated that he was, having some type of, abuse beyond just physical. And I really like to. The only thing I really would have wished from that is that we got more. This would be Uryu peak personalities plus discussion of the latest episodes. But yeah, I think I would have got a little bit more of that just showing Basby being a better friend versus them just getting better and getting older and stuff. I think that would have helped. Or at least showcase why Ugram switched up so quickly.
I think this whole episode has the complete ability to be like turn over on its head once we see what they do with Core 4.
Yeah.
Because there's like 50 chapters to animate or less, and then they have 13 episodes to go. So there's a lot of things that most likely will be expanded upon or just outright changed.
There's definitely a lot of room. I know for me, for the Ugram and Uryu fight, I really want to see a little bit more fighting.
I really don't want to see them fighting like it's hot potato and one person's injured. Now the other person's injured. Now the other person's injured.
Let's get a little bit more creative with the abilities rather than like, haha, how you, and like, haha, actually, I remember you. Like I don't I would I want to see a little more cleverness with the antithesis and Egram's ability, which is
The balance.
I want more explanation too. I really like classic anime where they tell you it's stupid, where they just break away and tell you.
It's a shame that the balance gets used in the Uryu fight and in that one random execution scene that makes no sense to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't we get anything else with Hashwaltz displaying his power? Hell, they didn't even do anything more when Hashwaltz destroys Ichigo's sword. It would have been also really cool, and also kind of put some respect on Ichigo a little bit. If he had to use the balance and be like, oh, you had really good luck surviving this long against my boss. Here's your equal misfortune. And then his sword breaks.
I really hope the anime does talk about the balance a little bit more, because in the manga it makes it seem like they're both like the antithesis and balance are kind of the same, and they're not. I really want that to be explained, especially when it comes to reality shifting concepts like that, like the antithesis. It's a busted ability, and I want to know its limits, and I think it's a good way to showcase it during the Ugram fight. I like to see Hashwall being like, oh yeah, your ability rivals that of the Almighty, but here's like a glaring weakness. And then see some classic Uryu, figuring it out. How can I beat this guy? Well, my favorite thing about Uryu is I like how he's represented as a range fighter. Circling it all back to why I picked Uryu for this episode, not many shows handle ranged fighters too well. There are some good ones out there, but Kubo really handles. He does not shift Uryu's like skill set or combat. He is 100% a Quincy, a traditional Quincy, using a bow and arrow, and he does not shift from that. And even in his fights, he's going to be pulling out that bow and arrow. I really like that about Uryu. He's very much. It's a lot of characters in Bleach, but they stick to who they are. Oh wow, that fits so well because Uryu stays who he is. Yeah, okay. That's a good one. Pat myself on the back for that.
I think my favorite thing about Uryu, this is a really small moment, but when he's fighting Ichigo and he uses that Quincy Wallstern against him, there's like that moment where Ichigo's like, how far have you fallen? And I think what really keeps Uryu interesting is there's a sense of the ends to justify the means, and he's willing to like damage or hurt anyone to get there, and he's quite individualistic in that sense, and it's kind of his parasitic problem he's constantly battling, because the only way he feels like he can trust things to be done is to do it himself, and he constantly pushes people away. And I'm not sure if he ever comes to this growth moment, because he kind of does stay the same, like you're saying.
Yes.
But I think the more mature and adult Uryu would eventually learn the lesson that it's okay to rely on others, and you don't have to do everything with your own hands.
Sound like Ichigo right there.
That's why they're a great parallel.
They actually are. It's that's their favorite thing about Uryu, is that I like he definitely sees Ichigo as not only as a rival but also as a friend. It's refreshing, to say the least. Better than Chad.
Poor Chad.
Poor Chad. I had to throw the Chad shade. I had to.
It started off so good, and then it got so bad.
We're gonna do Chad one day.
And we'll put for peak moments fighting statues in the 1,000-Year Blood War.
Instead of doing peak moments, we do least moments.
We can't imagine Chad losing.
I know, right? All right. Well, that wraps that up.
Yeah, that's all she wrote.